This time out on the Rusty Pilot, we're going to take a look at the cheapest G2 on the market for an SR22 and one of the more expensive ones. We're going to head on over to Trade a Plane, and we're going to get to the G2s. Those are typically the most bang for your buck right now. And somewhere between $200,000 and $400,000, we're going to be able to buy a plane. Now, I'm stack ranking this high to low at the moment. $400,000 plane is in Germany. That's not going to do us, so we're going to look at this $370,000 plane. This plane's located in Florida, so keep that in mind. This is a salt air environment. It is roughly, let's see here, I don't know, total time. It's got a ran out engine, but it's the highest cost one on the market. Prop, I'd probably redo the prop when I redid this engine. Why does it cost so much? Well, I think I see it right here that there is a brand new engine included in the price of this airplane that they're going to give you. Now, they're probably not going to install that engine for you. They're going to let you run out the current engine. I don't know, say there's 100 hours left on it. You could get out there and beat on that plane and not have any engine hold back, and then drop the other engine in. At least you have it in hand. You could schedule that with the shop, and if it's 3 months out, you could fly on the current engine for 3 months, and there you go. So probably cost you 10 grand. Now on a Cirrus airplane, you got to deal with the parachutes and the parachute cutters. There's a time limited life on them. As you can see, the parachutes due in 26 and the cutters in 29. Looks like they've just done the cutters. The caps is a $20,000 deal. That's a little bit off, but you're going to cover it. You're going to have a year to get your money saved up for it. When we look through the avionics, it does have an autopilot, and it's got Aviation GPS. This is the nicer stuff, and I want to see what that autopilot looks like, and I don't see a price there, but the other plane we're going to look at is going to have that exact same autopilot. And the way we want to figure this is if we were to replace what the avionics in the other plane with the same like for like as this plane, whether that's Garmin or Aviation. Now, there is the new engine included. They say it a couple times in the ad so you don't miss it, because they knew they had a hurdle here. They knew they had a timed out engine and they were asking big money. Most people are going to look at that and wonder why the heck are we buying a plane with a timed out engine. They're like, hey, we're going to give you an engine. So let's sort it to low to high now. And let's move in on the cheapest one for 60 grand here. It's in Texas, so it's not going to have the salt water to deal with. $260,000. If we were to start with this plane, how could we make it as good as the other plane for the same cost minus what time we would have invested in it? So there's the prop and the engine. You would get maybe a year out of this. So you're going to have to replace the engine in this plane too, but you're going to have to purchase the engine to go in this plane. It's got the same autopilot. The GPSs are 2430s. I know I would want to replace that with like Aviation, or maybe stick 2650s in it from Garmin if that autopilot will work with those 650s. Something tells me it probably won't, so you're probably going to buy from the same manufacturer there. Same engine in it, and yes, you're going to have to go out and buy one. Just bought a 550, so they're $60,000. Google is going to tell us they're worth about 53 here, I think. But by the time you purchased it, waited for it, and got it installed, you're probably going to have 3 to 6 months in it, and you're going to have a $10,000 install. A lot of variables there. Let's just keep that in the back of our minds, that we're going to say that's worth 50 grand, and that the the GPS and the avionics upgrade, I think you'd be 50 deep in it too. There's 100 right there. We'll run a spreadsheet at the end to kind of show all this. But now we want to go back and we want to start grabbing these end numbers, and we want to go out to FlightAware. And from FlightAware, we're going to go look for registrations and see where these are at. Real quick, just search for damage history, search for caps, just to see where it is if you've missed it. Neither one of these planes had any damage history. And just by picking up the N number and going out of FlightAware, I can go find who owns it. I can look them up on LinkedIn and see what they're doing. It's, it's a business, or is this a business owner? Kind of gives you a read on the people. And, you want a background search, folks. You never know what you'll find by sticking them in Google. You might find court cases for several airplanes that were sold that weren't as advertised or something. That would be a clear walk away from. But here in FlightAware, we're going to come on down, and right there is the registration. There's been roughly 6 registrations of this plane. Most people have held this plane for a good long time. Those are all positive factors. Let's go pull the other one and take a look at it. So just run back into trade a plane here, pull the cheaper of the airplanes. Go pull that in number and see, has the plane flown. Now, the one out of Florida had flown in the last month. This one right here, I don't think it's moved quite as... It's been a month or two. We'll see what it says here. It moved in September also. So it's been a couple of months. This is October 20th, so a month. Not very many owners, and individual owns it. This is probably a family airplane that he gets around in. Again, you just have to look them up on LinkedIn and kind of see if the facts checks out. Are those real people, or these, scammers on the internet? So let's look at it in a spreadsheet view. You got $260,000 for the cheaper plane, and then you got $370,000 for the more expensive plane. If you look, you're going to have to redo the engine. That's a minimum of $50,000. I would tell you you'd be $60,000 in it, plus about 6 months with the install. The panel, I feel like you'd be $50,000 in that too. The cheaper plane never said anything about the chute. It's probably due. You'd be in that for $20,000. You'd be in the cutters for $4,000. You would be in that cheaper plane if you gave them the $260,000 for probably $385,000, and it would cost you 6 months of your life and a lot of pulling your hair. Now that's a $14,000 delta in between the two airplanes. To figure a price, I would take my 6 months of downtime, my $1,000 a month of hangar and insurance, and then I would figure my time at $100 an hour, and I'd probably have 5 hours a week messing around with this thing at $13,000. An offering price of $240,000 is probably pretty fair, and I'm not so sure I wouldn't offer $230,000. On the more expensive plane, I'd probably move $10,000 down just to cover my cost to pre-buy, get out there and get it, and then absorb some of the tax bill. Now, next time out, we'll talk through past offer where you're into pre-buy and how you move this into escrow, what escrow companies to use, and what my experiences have been on my airplane purchases, because they've been real good. The escrow companies are typically, there's 2 or 3 of them out of Oklahoma, and we'll run through that. Love to hear your comments and your thoughts below on what your process is and how you make sure you're buying what you think you're buying.